All right. Shkayach. Okay, Shara Tshuva, we're in the Psicha. You know, it's interesting what we were talking about, what I was talking. I say we, I talk the whole time. But so what Tisho was saying that the Chovos haLevavos has a slightly different slant on the idea of tshuva. That being that Hashem created us so frail, it's like sort of part of the system. Right? Part of the system so that we can reach our shleimus is tshuva. Unlike what usually, should we do it fair? You want to come close, you want moved away from Hashem, you want to come close again. So you could say that that's shleimus and not shleimus, but he made it sound like it's like just one of those tools. It just like sort of reminded me a little bit when we learned maybe Shara B'Tochen. I remember where he talks about his shtadlus. That it seems that there was a machlokes. It seems like a machlokes. I know some people try to resolve it between the Messiah Shisharm, the Chovos haLevavos. The Messiah Shisharm talks about shtadlus being an outgrowth of the klola. That was the other Marisha. Before, and you didn't need a shtadlus. Now you need a shtadlus, and like the Messiah Shisharm says, so if it's a klola, try to do the least you can. You don't want the klola. But the Chovos haLevavos didn't understand that, but he understood it was also part of the Bria. That's why Hashem set up the world and he had a few reasons. You shouldn't be too busy, it shouldn't be too empty with nothing to do. And there were 2 or 3 reasons that I don't remember now. But why Hashem set up the world that way? It's part of the world. That's how you have to live. You have to do stuff. It has nothing to do with a klala. So it sounds like it's a little bit of a parallel with the tshuva also. It's not because you messed up, so now we're giving you, right? It's sort of part of the system, right? He says a person's very frail. It's going to happen, even if you have a chira, but it's going to happen, and that's why there's tshuva. Then it was just a thought that I was thinking. Yeah, you could put it here. Okay. So again, he says, "V'kemen ha'uvda." This is like the second side, page Kufchaf Beis. I don't remember where we stopped. He says that's the given that a person's not going to fulfill his obligation. All those psukim that he brought, and mitzat haseichel. So therefore HaKadosh Baruch Hu had rachmanas on the person because he loves him, cares about him. Gives him the ability to correct his mistakes and to make up what he was lacking from his avodah. I had tshuva. And in that way, he could reach shleimus. And not only that, only that he commands us. And he's mizaris us to do tshuva. This the Shari tshuva for sure says it. I remember that. That's what a chesed. Not only does Hashem give us tshuva, but he made it into a mitzvah. He commands us to do it. All right, so here, tziva v'ziris oisal tshuva avodah v'anavim b'sham b'sam b'finu. To honor is v'tzdak v'hitztar de kuyois rabbis shenuchal is not sabhen al shenatinu v'derech avedosei. Wow, and he says, then Hashem gives us excuses so that we can explain, why we did that. Wow, honor is v'hitztar de kuyois. Rabbis, shenuchal is not so bad, and I could excuse myself and explain myself that I made a mistake. V'ivtiach lanu kalbani ton satshuva, and Hashem promised it. Well, this piety ton and to easily, quickly make shalom, as they say in this country. Imarinu as piv, even if we rebelled, v'hefranos bisois man rav, and we went against the Torah a long time. As it says in the Perek in Yecheskel, Uvashuv Rasha Mirishasam, when the Rasha repents back from his vicious for us and mishpat, it's stuck alem hu yichya. So he's gonna live. So he's saying he's talking about the Rosh Hashanah. Let's see if he says anything on this. All right, so this is where we ended off here. We were talking about this point that I brought up again, right? Mashal Nimsa came to Svar Macharim Dehine Mugo B'Fikol Sheina Tshuva Lashav Labor Yisrael. Most people most Svarim review that Tshuva is an idea of coming back to Hashem of Rabbeinu Pirish. Inyan Tshuva Lahoshev Avedas Ha'odem Alatz. It's to return what the person lost back to himself. I know Shaydei Chatov.
The tshuva, again, a different translation of tshuva.
What's that?
The subject of the tshuva is a different subject. Right? You're coming back to yourself, not coming back to Hashem. What is the object of the tshuva?
Right. That's what he's saying. And by the way, it says in an introduction, you should just know that Rav Mitzvah said it somewhere. Learned this with Rav Eliyah Lapian. The Gama Shekibo mi Rabbi Agoda again inside Marina Rabbi Eliyah Lapian. Okay, so it even has like a. So right, person loses a little of his shlemus when he does averis. You can bring it back. And he brings here. He says, "There are things that are lost." Initially, part, and was the shlemus he's making it sound is our inherent mitzias. And when we do averis, we lose it, and the tshuva helps us bring it back. And he's saying it's mamash like he's going to say here, like almost like a Chovos aveda. Right, when it talks about marriage, the Gemara says, person lost something. So who looks for what? Does the Aveda look for the person? The person look for the Aveda. The Gemara there is comparing it that the prospective girl is yours, you lost it. And you're gonna another man looks for what he lost. So sometimes you have to work very hard to find it. As it says, person loses part of his shlemus through his averis. So Rav Mitzvah's mom is comparing it. For loveless ametz moed, limto avedasa, you have to look for what you lost. By days there, limto avedasu. And in a picture, I'll call a shlemus shaloi. He says it's not possible that you're always so alert not to lose any of you. So right, so that's what he says. Okay, there's a long one here. Yeah, let's skip it. Well, the fee. Let's go further. Well, the fee. V'gam, la tzadikim ha-tshuva hi acharchis. The tshuva is even necessary for tzadikim. Shar yeshno shnei minei tzadikim. Have two types of tzadikim. Ke'ela shlo yosu chet v'ovo mimenu. Those who never did an avera. V'ke'ela shekein chotu ela shechosu b'tshuva. The other type is those who did sin, but they're doing tshuva. V'loi oi el shoroiva tzadikim en balei tshuva. Says Chovos haLevavos. Not only that, most of the tzaddikim are bali tshuva. Uraya lekach. I'll give you a proof. Says Chovos haLevavos. She's good. David Hamelch Shnei Avsugim Alolu. Shel tzaddikim, when David Hamelch refers to them, Afi Shoy Lo Lasker Tchilas At Tzaddikim Shloichater Mimei. Even though it would be logical that he first mentioned the tzaddikim that never did an avera. Sheikol Bal Tshuva Yitzad Bnei Shechota, because every Bal Tshuva was a tzaddik before he did an avera. V'lo Yikol Tzaddik Hu Bal Tshuva, right? Every Bal Tshuva was once a tzaddik before he did an avera, but not every tzaddik is a Bal Tshuva. So he should have first talked about the tzaddik before the avera. The Chosai is Hiskas Bali Tshuva Tchila. V'Omar Ashe Nesui Feshek Nesui Chato. That's referring to about Tshuva. V'Achach Hiskas Tzikim Shloichater Mimeim V'Omar Aleim. Pasuk Beis Ashe Odom LeYachshav Hashem LeYovin. No sin. Loma Hiskas Davar HaMelech Bali Tshuva Tchila. So why? It was logical to set up the other way. Why does he talk about the Baal Tshuva first? And they should write about Tzaddikim Bali Tshuva because he's talking about the majority of people. So first he's talking about majority of people are Bali Tshuvas, even the Tzaddikim. Another place in Tilim, that's the given. The given. A little bit like the, similar on this vein is the famous letter from Rav Hutner Zatzal had written that it's a wrong that people do is that they picture the tzaddik, the gadol, as someone who sort of grew up that way. He was born that way, right? And that's very creates years by people. And I can't be like that. And they don't talk about all the trivials and the difficulties. He was born not speaking Lashon Hara. He had to work very hard to get. That's not part of the Gadol book, right? The Chovos haLevavos is saying the most tzaddikim slip. It's very rare to have a tzaddik that didn't slip, and therefore David HaMelech refers to that first because that's really the given. That's mamash the given, and therefore he's following what he's saying. Therefore, there had to be tshuva in the world to help us bring us back, find our Vedam. He came to tshuva here. Since tshuva is something that's necessary for everybody. That's when you start Shmoneh Esrei. You right away, if that you take off with tshuva. He says that's why those are the first brachas. Because that's everybody needs that. Other things okay, but everybody needs. Okay, now he's going to tell us what's coming. We have to explain 10 things. This is the format of the Chovos haLevavos and every shar. Right? It first gives us a little introduction, tells us what he's going to talk about. So number one, Mahi tshuva. What is tshuva? Is the kama chalokim hi nechlekes. How many parts is there to tshuva? What do you have to know in order to be able to be choizer b'tshuva? Number four, mahim ikrei tshuva. What are the basic aspects of tshuva? Number five, mahim haprotim shkol echem ikrei tshuva. What do those ikrei tshuva break up into? Vav eza dvarim o'irim esadam lachsav b'tshuva. Well, bring you to tshuva. And zayin eza dvarim ma'akrin sa tshuva ma'abdim eser. What things cause you to lose tshuva and take away its value of the tshuva you did, I guess. Do you say that Baal tshuva, when after his tshuva is equal, what happens is that now he's back to as if it was like a tzaddik that never sinned. Oiloi. Now we know we have the Gemara that welcome Shabbat tshuva ma'imim tzaddik gemur. Can't stand that would sound like this. No, you go beyond the tzaddik that never sinned. Okay, let's wait to see what he says. Test you do tshuva on every of it. And advice for those who find it difficult to do tshuva. So advice how to get around that. It was in Assignments Bear Kodaki tshuva. By that we've explained all the part of tshuva is Bear HaChoyva Shima Tilalenu and the obligation of what it places upon us. Shayodam Anu Makavim Lahaseg Slichas Avinestenu Bezos Hashem Yisparach. So Perak Aleph. Let's start. Vatavar my tshuva. What is tshuva? Hapersha tshuva he. Odom itaken es atzmai b'choiz avodas habaris barach. You get flawed, you're broken, and by doing tshuva, you're able to go back to avodas Hashem. Umasha v'smasha hechsa mimenu, and you're able to complete what you had lacked. Achrei sheisrachik mimenu v'chata. After you distance yourself from avodas Hashem and your sin. Either because you weren't aware of the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and how he should be served. I guess you didn't learn. Right? Well, you did know, but the Tahara overcame what you knew. Or because sounds like you willingly chose not to fulfill the obligations to Hashem. Or it could be because you had bad friends. And their influence caused you to sin. Chatoim, I guess, means those who seduce you. Yeroes Hashem b'ni v'melech im sheinim al tisari. Oy begalsi v'staymeis. On the bottom, he explains, Matzudas, what is this passage? Yeroes Hashem b'ni u'melech b'ni Yeroes Hashem. Fear Hashem v'es hamelech and fear the king. Im sheinim al tisari. V'al tischaber la'anoshim hamishanim es mitzvah Hashem. Don't join people who change the mitzvahs Hashem, it's mitzvahs HaMelech, or Eivrim Aleim, and they transgress them. Or other sibas, right? So he gives 4 or 5 reasons here why a person might sin. He doesn't know. His Yetzer Hara overcomes him. He just chose not to act upon what you know, be at friends. But any one of these things cause you to do an Avera. And this that you're far, that you're distant from Avodah Hashem could be in 2 ways. You didn't do what you were supposed to do. Or you did what Hashem told you not to do. Either you didn't do what he did, or you didn't fulfill mitzvah. Or you did do what Hashem said not to do. You transgressed also say. Whose kavanah possessed by race, and you kavanah was to rebel against Hashem. So if it was, so to speak, Sheva Taisi, just didn't fulfill what Hashem told you to do. So the way to do tshuva, she started last and says, from now on, I'm going to do it. And you attach yourself to the Iyyar tshuva that we're going to speak about in Perek Shal. But if the way you distance yourself from Hashem, also losses, that you transgressed, you were over on Averis, things that Hashem answered. As I love the Takin Toisadiri, Jizam Lasu Shuv Maisamela. The way you correct that is that from now on, you're careful not to do those. So if you messed up with mitzvahs says, you got to start doing them. If you messed up with mitzvahs says, you have to stop doing them. It's a hefech shamayis. Part of the tshuva seems to be, and you have to try to do the opposite of those actions. Again, on top of that, you got to be involved with Iyyar tshuva, protect Shavar Lon b'Sha'azeh B'ez Hashem Yisborach. Davar doima lirais v'rafua. Tuchal lirais v'rafua. You can see a similar thing gives a mushroom when it comes to medicine. Hativi shala adam. Shochol amachmas tizuna built in a chayna. Person got sick because he didn't eat the right things. Or it could be not that he ate the wrong things, but he didn't eat the right things. Didn't take his vitamins. Right? There's two possibilities. Either you didn't eat what's healthy, or you ate things that are not healthy. In
You didn't eat it's the same.
Either you didn't eat your vegetables, you didn't finish your vegetables, or you ate too much candy. So if you're sick because you didn't eat what you need to eat, you didn't eat the vegetables, so how do you get better? Eat a lot of vegetables. Get the vitamins. That's necessary. Until you're healed. Then once you're healthy, so like first you have to take vitamins to catch up, but once then you can already just eat the carry them, be enough. But it's because if you're eating too much nash, so how do you get healthy? You stop eating nash. Stop eating things like that. And I'd rather eat foods that their hashpa, their
Influence.
influence.
They're healthy foods.
Right, eat foods. Well, like this, I guess if let's say you ate too much candy and that's ruining your teeth, you should eat a lot of calcium. I don't know, to strengthen your teeth. And then when your body is ready to go, so now you don't have to eat any more calcium pills. Eat regular foods, eat an egg. Ukvar, this most of the pasuk already says. Okay, so we'll pick this up tomorrow, Perek Beis. Okay, this is Hashem Yisparach. Thank you. Recording ended. No, Brian.
Find it, yeah.
Bye.